Occasionally on this channel, I like to talk about ships which I think deserve more love and recognition from fans. That's not to say that they don't get love and recognition, but I think they should get more. Usually I try to bring attention to these underappreciated designs by going over what makes them actually good and worthy of more attention. And it just so happens that this month, the Patreons voted on the Miranda class to get that treatment. This video brought to you by the channel's Patreons. They're awesome and they get to vote on video topics. And this is one of them, and there's a link somewhere. Moving on. In case you didn't know, the Miranda class is the ship before you. The USS Reliant is a member of this class. It is probably the most famous one. Though there's also things like USS Saratoga, which is the ship that Sisko was on during Wolf 359. I'm pretty sure it was Saratoga. And she might have appeared earlier in Star Trek canon. We're not for sure. Also, USS Lantry is a member of that class. You see it all the time in Next Generation, and particularly the later seasons of Deep Space Nine, with the Dominion War battle sequences. You see a lot of Mirandas eating Galor-class disruptor shots in the face and not enjoying the experience. Okay, so you're no doubt thinking something along the lines of, Mr. Starship Reviews guy, everyone knows what the Miranda is. We see it constantly in Next Gen and Deep Space Nine, and it was developed for one of the more popular Star Trek movies. What are we here for? I mean, we know, yeah, it's the ship that dies later on to prove the situation is serious. We know what the Miranda is. Why the video? Well, dear viewer, guy, person, I know that the Miranda class is almost omnipresent in Star Trek media from its first appearance in Star Trek II. I mean, we've seen the ship so much. It's made countless appearances in many shows and episodes. But just because it's commonplace doesn't mean that the ship is appreciated. In fact, I would say that because the ship is seen so often, it is, in fact, often taken for granted. The ship's use, particularly as a means of advancing the plot or proving the severity of the situation, doesn't help things either, in my mind. We've seen so many members of the class destroyed that the ship, alongside the often-maligned Oberth class, has achieved meme status as the red shirt among Starfleet ship classes. So I hope that explains, in a roughly coherent manner, why the Miranda is underappreciated in my eyes. Now I get to explain why it should be more appreciated by fans, and oh boy is the ship worthy of greater popularity, and I wouldn't say less memes because some of them are quite good, but maybe more like, hey, this is pretty good discourse on the internet than it tends to get. For starters, the Miranda class is among the most versatile and useful ships ever in Starfleet service. She entered service in the 2270s as a light cruiser to serve as a cost-effective supplement to the heavy cruisers like the Constitution class. She incorporated many of the more innovative aspects and technologies that Starfleet would use for the next quarter century, establishing the design language of Starfleet while they did so with this ship. Moving forward, the Miranda would prove herself to be a very capable and easily adaptable design. As she became outdated as a light cruiser, too small and lightly armed for the role by the 2320s, and the result would be that the class would be employed in all manner of secondary roles, acting as effective destroyers, frigates, science ships, surveyors, transports, medical ships, communications vessels, recovery vessels, special operations vessels, the list goes on. This would save Starfleet significant resources during a time when the government saw little need to significantly invest in Starfleet. So in many ways, the Miranda class was the backbone for almost a century. Maybe a little bit longer, it really depends on what you consider backbone. While the Excelsior was the mainstay cruiser class for much of the same period, the Miranda proved herself adaptable and more than up to performing many other tasks effectively. Perhaps not as well as a purpose-designed vessel would, but well enough that the lack of such ships was not significantly missed by Starfleet for much of this period. So those are all the reasons why the Miranda class is great, and why it deserves more attention and appreciation in my opinion. Let me know if you agree, if the ship should be stuck in meme status, and what your favorite Starfleet ship is as well. This is a bit shorter video than usual, but I wanted to sort of get it out because I have other stuff to do, so this video is being recorded like a week in advance and should be up while I'm doing other stuff as if there's no delay. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a like. Subscribe, as mentioned. Also, there's a Patreon for the channel. Patreons get to vote, and I mentioned this at the start. I don't need to mention it again, but I am. You can feel free to do that if you want. If not, I understand. I mean, money sucks. So yeah. I think that's really all I have to go over for this video. I hope you enjoyed it at the very least. Bye.